Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's webinar. So before I begin, I'm just going to read through the disclaimer briefly. Please feel free to read along as well. Beyond Trader LLC is strictly a research publishing firm. The information we publish is based on our opinions plus our quantitative models, statistical and financial data, and independent research. This service is not registered with any financial regulatory agency, such as the SEC or any other organization or governmental body. By using our platform or our services, you acknowledge that we do not provide personalized recommendation or advice. Alternative asset classes are volatile investments and carry significant risk. Please do your own research before making any financial decisions. Okay, so let's get straight to it. So I think this week there should be lots to talk about because the market has been moving higher. And as I pointed out last week, our indicators were suggesting just that. So let's see what's been happening and where they are now. So let's go to our indicator board and start with Beyond Atlas. So as you know, if you've been following Beyond for a while, or our indicators, Beyond Atlas has been dropping, and that's a great sign. This week, we actually moved outside the red zone, and we've moved into this white zone. So in case you didn't know, if you move underneath 100, then that's when things start to get interesting from a bull perspective. If we have a look at today's reading, we're around 113. So we've dropped quite significantly this week. We've easily dropped over 50 points, and each day I think we've been shedding around about 10 points. That highlights the growing bullish momentum in the market. And as you can see, this indicator, it has a strong inverse relationship with price, i.e. The price is going higher, Atlas will start to move lower, and vice versa. When Atlas is moving higher, the market should be in a downtrend, or at least correcting lower. So we can see from the highs of the year, the market has started to correct and obviously bounce from around 74,000, and Atlas has been rising, it's topped out, and it's started to drop. So it's been nailing it really perfectly. And I think the interesting point going into next week is if we cross underneath this 100 threshold, then that will mean that the market goes past the neutral zone and into the bullish zone. And for the ultimate buy signal for Atlas, we need to see it move into the green zone, and then we really do get a red hot buy signal. And this is exactly what happened after the election. We moved into the green zone, and then we started to really take off from there. So at the moment, how do I feel about Atlas? I think it's a good sign. I don't want to see it dropping too quickly. Ideally, Bitcoin would be above 100 before we got near into the green zone. I'd like to see Bitcoin close to its all-time highs before we moved into the green zone, and that would give us plenty of scope for Bitcoin to make a substantial move higher towards the price forecasts that I mentioned. So with that, I think it sets up an interesting week ahead. The only caution I would say to you is if we got to the 100 area and we started to turn upwards from there. But at the moment, we're not seeing a kind of creep down to that level, which you would expect on various occasions. If we can get some examples here, 2023, we started to turn from that area after testing it, and so on and so forth. So I doubt we're going to stop at 100. We're probably going to break it based on the downward momentum that we're seeing. So I'm excited to see what happens once we cross underneath 100, and if we do get a really bona fide buy signal from that next week. Moving on to the next indicator here, and I'm going to have a look at the long versus short ratio. So last week, I hypothesized that we could get a massive short squeeze in the market because we were moving into the red zone, and that's exactly what we've happened. The price moved significantly higher, about $10,000, and we saw this short squeeze on global Binance accounts. If we have a look to the weekly time frame, or sorry, the daily time frame rather, a more protracted view out, and we can see typically when we're in the red zone, once we start to come out of there, then the price starts to fall. The risk is if this short squeeze ends, then we could see some type of correction down to about 90 to 85,000. So it's particularly important that we don't move too far away from the red zone, i.e. we have some type of snapback and equilibrium towards back the 90,000 area. Oh, God forbid the 85,000 level, but I don't particularly think that's going to happen. And I would suggest keeping a close eye on this short squeeze in the market, and I rather hope that it's only going to intensify. Moving on to Beyond Vanguard, and that's where a lot of my interest is going to lie this week. Now, if you've been following Beyond Vanguard for a while, you will know weekly has been in the orange zone for a while. So let's see what this looks like as we drill down on the time zone. So we can see that the orange here obviously is the dominant theme. However, hopefully as the market starts to tick higher, this will start to change into a blue or green signal. So this is what I'm ideally looking to happen, and we're already starting to see it happen on the other time frames. At what point does the weekly start to flip into green? I would say watch out around the 97 to 100,000 area for a blue signal, which means get ready to buy or start to buy, or starts to turn green probably around the all-time highs. We'd see that probably around 106 to 108 starting to turn green. I would suggest if that happens, we're going to see a multi-week trend higher and a powerful move like we did after the election. So watch out for that. And encouragingly, something that I have been paying a lot of attention to is the 3-day. So look at the 3-day, and what has that been telling us all year? It's been orange and it's also been red. But on any moves that we've seen or attempts higher, it hasn't seen any blue or green. So over the last week, it's turned blue and it's turned green. Which really validates the move higher, and it suggests that we're not going to test lower, and this move higher is not a fake. That's what I love about Vanguard in the interpretation of the model. It not only lets you know divergent signals, i.e. Earlier this year when the market was heading higher, we were still orange, and that kind of suggested that the move could be BS, but the fact that we're going back to those levels and we're still green suggests that we're going to head higher. So I really like that for the 3-day, and the indications with the 3-day buy signal is that not only will the up move last, but we could see a challenge towards the all-time high. So I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing there. If we have a look on the daily time frame, and I will note for myself that the weekly, the 3-day and the 12-hour are probably the most reliable signals, and that's also what our back tested data suggests. So the daily signal, make of it what you will, but again, it's kind of green and blue, and there's all positive signs for that. How about the 12-hour? So the 12-hour certainly gives us a hint if we're going to see some type of correction coming up, and it's not flagging that at the moment. There's no orange or red coming up. It's still blue and green, and that could suggest that we're not likely to see any correction over the coming weeks unless we get some, obviously, a knee-jerk fundamental news come into the market. But I don't see that currently. And that suggests to me that we're probably going to test not only towards 97, but maybe towards 100,000, 102 before we see some type of correction. So very, very interesting for the Vanguard indicator at the moment. I would love to see the weekly turn either blue or orange. That would be huge. And again, we continue to monitor a very reliable 3-day and 12-hour signal. So I hope you enjoyed the update from what our indicators are currently seeing, and from myself, from my own personal opinion, based on what I've been saying in my newsletters and people that follow me, certainly wouldn't be surprised to see a new all-time high over the coming weeks. It's very important that we get past the 102,000 level in the upcoming days and weeks, and I don't want to see any correction get anywhere near 85 to 84,000. I don't mind if 90,000 correction happens and we bounce from there, but I really don't want to see the market going too much lower than that. Okay, so thank you very much, and I will see you again next Sunday.